glitch to guarantee. E&E. Put your boy shit. Glitch, nigga. Shit, I'm about to flood the streets like when the levees break. Criminal minds, my Garcia can navigate. Flowing while I'm blowing this gas. Nigga, no breaks. Niggas not seeing me ever. I mean, no dates. Fuck around and end up gone. You get in this place. E&E, the shit that I claim. You dealing with grace. Took over the game by storm like Rain's mixtape. Thankfully, I've been up in smoke like my mixtape. Counting cheddar shit, I'm about to make a grilled cheese. Niggas be faker than bad bitches with good leaves. On my John Wick shit like Keanu Reeves. Replacements won't be enough. You need the whole team. I've been a G since I could finish my ABCs. Kept it a buck so real niggas look up to me. This butcher boy shit get crazy when it's sick of me. I'm coughing out these dope bars till they sick of me.
Can't get rid of me, still can't find a remedy. Still blowing palmers, if it comes to Hennessy. E&E, we own our shit independently. When I go out on the limb, I take extremities. I can see right through transparency. Heard they self-esteem low, insecurities. Now or never, like, push the guarantee. What's the recipe? King L's Reflection 3. All these chapters in my life, you can turn a page. Books can't tell you my story, gotta live a day. Glitch got my back, yeah, you can copy that. Man, we control the seat, you can copy that. Leave your whole state red like Republicans. Put fire on the track, now it's bubbling. Put your boys E&E, you in trouble, kid. Add first 100 mil, you can double.
Let's go. All the hustlers getting money, let it show. Automatic, nigga, how we get the dough. If it ain't paper, then we probably gotta go. Put your boy shit, nigga, let's go. All the hustlers getting money, let it show. It's automatic, nigga, how we get the dough. If it ain't paper, then we probably gotta go. Put your boy shit, nigga, let's go.
Blow sick, corona, jealous in the motherfucker. Can't even take a step, that's how far I trust you. This black boy turned to shining king under pressure. West side fat jacks, I took more to measure. Shake the extras, that's business, started feed street blues. What I talk, royal blood flowing free. Power on my mind, knows the gang is kind. Read between the lines, it was in my eye. If they ain't got real lines, it ain't hard to spot a counterfeit. Undefeated, ultra real, burn gully mountain shit. Couple hot shots, turn on the frozen margaritas. Even better when it's served with some flawless features. Next year they gotta pay for these flawless features. Flawless victories from the flaws that they teach us. Now my flow imitate how I board the plane non-stop. The little J gon' take over with my time side.
Yeah, I get right to it. My nigga, we begging pardon. We putting niggas back in boxes. Yeah, they need pardon. My flow be retarded. Sick, I need hella help. My groove came back. This must be how Stella felt. We just started kicking it like a yellow belt. We all made it to the pros. This is how LaMelo felt. You better yell out help. Here comes the double team. You catch me in the spot, then you know that the boy is clean. The Louis V look mean with the magazine. So if you try it, you get shot. No vaccine. If you was asleep before I came, then I'm the caffeine. I pull the jokers out the deck. Yeah, there ain't no laughing. In CEO fashion, we sticking to the business. Wouldn't even let a vegan knock me off my chicken. Something about the VVS when the sun is hitting. Should be flashing like the lights when you getting
Let's go. All the hustlers getting money, let it show. It's automatic, nigga, how we get the dough. If it ain't paper, then we probably gotta go. Put your boy shit, nigga, let's go. All the hustlers getting money, let it show. It's automatic, nigga, how we get the dough. If it ain't paper, then we probably gotta go. Put your boy shit, nigga,
Let's go. Yeah. What up? Y'all already know it's the man about town, Brother Berry, a.k.a. Stacks with the Facts. And y'all know y'all tuned in to another episode of 8 Real Talk Podcast. Thanks, everybody, for coming out tonight. You already know what it is, man. Smash that like button, click on the bell, subscribe to the page, steer on your social engineering and all of that, man. I'm talking about what's good with y'all. How y'all doing tonight, man? Hey, every time I hear that song, man, I get charged up. That's one of my favorite songs by my brothers. You hear me, man? Let's go. You hear me? I remember when I first heard that track, I was salty. I wasn't able to get on that one, but you know what I mean? It came out beautiful, and it's a beautiful situation. You know what I'm saying? How everybody out there doing tonight? You know what I'm saying? I'm excited about this show tonight, man, because I want to be the type of guy to bring different type of content. You know what I mean? And, I'm an actual content creator, man. I'm gonna emphasize that. You hear me? And this brother coming on tonight is definitely going to drop heavy jewels. You know, so this is something that I would behoove everyone to really start taking serious. You hear me? And really start learning, and in the process of learning, developing very good skills in farming and gardening. You hear me? It's going to be vital. You hear me? And it's a beautiful thing. It's something I actually been thinking about and reading up on in other areas of research as well as cross-reference with it. So, you know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing that I come across my brother, you know what I'm saying? Because now, you know, after having him on the show tonight, as well as after this, definitely going to get in contact with my brother and definitely, you know what I'm saying, see about how I can go about learning how to do what I need to do, because this is something I've really been seriously thinking about, and I know it's an important skill to have. Plus, it's something I thought I could do with my daughter as well as bonding with her, because she likes stuff like that. So, you know, it's a beautiful thing. How y'all doing tonight, man? Hit that like button. Meet and greet each other as y'all come in, man. You know what I'm talking about? Last night's show, man. How did y'all like it, man? You hear me? You know what I'm talking about? Me and my brother L, man. You know what I'm talking about? Love my brother. You hear me? Yeah, we definitely went in last night. You know what I'm saying? Thanks everybody for coming out and tapping in with us. You did. You know, it's a very sensitive situation, man. You know, rest in the essence to our brother Takeoff. Very sad situation. Shout out to Kyrie Irving and Kanye West. You hear me? For having the testicular fortitude to say what needs to be said. You hear me? And I've been telling y'all for a long time that it's going to always come to this time to where those amongst us are going to have to stand up and be counted for and stick our chests out, man, and be on the front line, because I'm telling y'all that it's coming for our freedom of speech. They're coming for it. And we have to defend it at all costs. You hear me? Even the speech of those who we vehemently disagree. Matter of fact, we should be defending their speech the most. You understand me? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, last night's show was beautiful. You know what I mean? I got some emails today. And I just want to say shout out to everybody who be watching from the clouds, man, sending emails and all that stuff. And I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Smash that like button, man. Click on the like button. You know what I'm talking about? Subscribe to the page and all of that. You know what I mean? Click on the bell. You know what I'm talking about? And I just want to say that, man, as this year comes to an end so fast and so abrupt like it has, you know, I want y'all to pay attention to what's going on, man. You know what I mean? Keep your head on the swivel. You know what I'm talking about? Be alert. Be aware. You know, it's getting crazy out here, man. And we're starting to see some of this stuff, you know, come out in full fruition in the society, man. And I just want y'all to be prepared, man. I want y'all to be mentally prepared. I want y'all to be intellectually prepared, you know, you know what I mean, as well as physically, you know what I'm saying? And this is why I'm having this brother on the show tonight, because the skill that he has, you know what I mean, this is a skill that is going to become very imperative to have, very valuable. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, we got food deserts. You understand what I'm saying? We got all this messed up genetically modified food in the store, you know, and I ain't gonna say it's a lost art, but I'm gonna say it's I would say that it's becoming I ain't gonna say forgotten, because I can't say that either, but it's coming and I wouldn't say shunned either, but it's coming like not even overlooked, but like ignored, I would say, on a micro level anyway. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's a beautiful thing to have a brother on tonight. You know what I mean? I think we should focus less on being rappers and entertainers and athletes, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. And I think we need to focus on the actual things that matter, like the structure of our very society, which is crumbling in front of our eyes right now. You feel me? So these skills that, built the country is going to be the same skills that's going to survive when things get hectic. You know what I mean? Because nothing brings you more freedom, and I'm pretty sure our brother will agree. I'm pretty sure we're going to speak on this. Nothing brings you more freedom than being able to provide food for yourself. And we're going to get into that too, because I don't know if my brother's aware of certain things that I am, but we definitely going to talk about it, because it's the reason why farming is being done on the local independent side the way it is. You hear me? With all the ordinances that's passing, all the zoning laws that's passing. You hear me? Oh, we about to get into it. You hear me? Please believe it. Y'all hear me when I talk about the Wildlands Project, right? Lance Parker in the building. What's good, brother? Yeah, you already know, Lance Parker, Franken Food, created in labs, man. Yes. They've been playing with our brains' ability to detect actual food and flavor from artificial food and flavor. Notice the word artificial. But yeah, man, y'all hear me talk about the Wildlands Project. How many of y'all familiar with the Wildlands Project? Or how about the WUI, the Wildlands Urban Interface? Or what y'all know about the UGB, Urban Growth Boundaries? What you know about your city's Climate Action and Resilient Plan? Oh, we're going to get into it tonight. It's a blessing and an honor and a privilege to have this brother on tonight, man. I'm telling you, guys like this guy right here is going to be very valuable in the future and in the years to come. Trust me. You hear me? You got to understand how important guys like my brother I'm having on tonight are going to be to society in the near coming future. And when I say near, I mean near. You hear me? And just to emphasize when I say that, we don't do fear mongering stuff like that over here, man. We just keeping it 100. You hear me? Real talk, man. Hit that like button, y'all. Click on the bell, subscribe to the page. All right. Y'all hear me talk about these things. Y'all hear me talk about UN Agenda 2030 for global sustainability. Right? All of these things are affecting the ability to produce food on your own, which is slowly but surely, I dare say, becoming illegal. Right? And it's beautiful to have a brother on tonight because, this is something that is not desired for us to be able to do. I want y'all to understand that, man. I want y'all to understand the legislation that's being passed. I want y'all to understand the agendas at foot that's trying to prevent us from doing what my brother is doing and doing a beautiful job of doing it and being an advocate for it as well. You hear me? What they're doing to the farming industry right now is absolutely atrocious. And for those who have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, you know exactly why it's being done, and not only how it's being done, but why it's being done. Because you only got to come to one conclusion when you finally look at it for what it is, specifically with the food industry and the agriculture industry. When you look at it for what it is, it's kind of hard and difficult for the average human to admit it to themselves and actually say it, right? Because it could only be one thing at the end of the day. And we definitely going to get into it, man. So thanks everybody for coming out. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a good one for y'all tonight, man. Lots of jewels is going to be dropped. You know what I'm saying? This is a very important skill and talent, and even to the highest degree, a gift to have. Because, although you can be shown how to till the land, but to be able to do it in the way that it was intended to do, this is a gift from God. You hear me? To be able to cultivate the land and produce food from it. You understand the power that gives you as an individual sovereign human being, or should I say, can't really say none of that. But y'all know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? That's another topic for another day. But we're going to get right to it, man. I'm about to bring my brother up right now. Brethren.
Blessings.
Blessings to you, brother. Blessings to you, man. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm wonderful. Every day is a wonderful day.
Right.
Every day is a blessing. There's no way to wake up with a bad attitude when you wake up, surrounded by nature.
I was just about to say, man, that's a beautiful situation right there, man. I would go there just to sit and just think and read and stuff like that if I had an area like that, man.
Yes, sir.
My mom, when I grew up, my mom was a plant head. She kept plants throughout the house. So I used to water the plants, talk to the plants, you know what I mean?
Yes.
All that stuff, you know what I mean? And my mom developed that in me when I was a young boy, you hear me? And I appreciate her for that. So I want you to sit up there, introduce yourself.
Yes, sir.
So let the people know who you are.
Okay.
And, just give them a brief introduction to who you are.
Excellent. Well, my name is Clifton Curtis, Sr.
Right.
Also known as Abdullah El Hajj Malik Muhammad, also known as the Plant Poppy 614.
Right.
The Grow Master Supreme, not but the Grow Master Supreme. Right. So if I can't grow it, then it can't be grown.
Talk to him, brother.
But no, man, I was born and raised right here in Columbus, Ohio, Windsor Terrace, Short North, and was in the military for a while. Moved around for a few years. Did some work for a while in Arizona and Alabama. Now I'm back here in the 614, man. Enjoying life and trying to teach people how to grow and live longer.
That's a beautiful thing, brother. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Now, being from Columbus, Ohio, from the short north, you know what I mean? So, I know you're a man of a certain age. So, you know what I'm saying? That means you've been around for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I turned 54 this past Tuesday.
Right.
Yesterday. Yeah.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing, man. Happy belated born day, brother.
Thank you, brother.
You already know. So I just basically want you to sit up there and give us a brief history. You ain't gotta go too far deep in, bro. You know what I mean? Just give us a brief history on where you're from. You know what I'm saying? How did you come about learning the information, the knowledge of learning how to farm and plant and be a gardener and all of that? And just basically give us a brief, you ain't gotta go too deep, and you know what I'm saying, but give us a brief overview of how you came about to where you are today.
Okay. Well, like I said, I was born and raised here in Columbus.
Right.
My grandmother actually was my first introduction to growing anything. My grandmother had plants. These actually were her cards. These were her plant cards that she had. I inherited them, of course, after she passed. May she rest in peace. But anyway, so then from her, my mom. And when you walked into my mom's house, man, she's also passed, but God rest her soul. She had a green thumb, right? Wow. So I picked it up from them, right? So I'll be honest with you, brother. Where I really picked up my greatest breath and greatest depth of knowledge was from growing marijuana.
Talk to them about it.
Yeah, growing marijuana. And growing marijuana, it teaches you patience. It teaches you so much it teaches you really how to become a scientist, because you really, a marijuana grower takes care of that plant like a parent takes care of a child, a good parent. Right? So, because you're watching it at every step of growth, because you want that end product. So you're gonna give it the best, So I learned a lot from growing that. I don't grow it any longer, but I learned a lot. And then from there, I transitioned into growing plants. This was about 15 years ago.
Right.
And I started out with a couple house plants, a few here and there. And actually, 4 years ago, I had 2 house plants. I was down only 2 plants. Now, I'm over 400 now, right?
Right.
My goal was I'm trying to get to 500 plants indoors, right?
Right.
So anyway, so I was down to 2 plants. I'm self-employed. Make a long story short, did some work for a woman, cleared out her house. She had to move with family to Georgia. She left a basement full of plants, and I got jump started again 4 years ago, and here we are. So what I do also, not only do I grow plants, of course, indoors, I also garden. I also farm. I also produce my own soil. I compost.
Right.
So I produce my own dirt. So I try to keep, and I also, once again, learned that from marijuana, because you don't want to leave a trail. So I learned how to, recycle, compost everything.
Right.
So, like I said, man, I learned a lot from growing that, and it just carried forward. And right now I got a compost pile outside. I got a full garden outside. I also have a full garden indoors where I'm going to grow indoor crops. Right here on the other side of this wall, I have a tower garden. Where I'm going to grow lettuce, I'm going to grow strawberries and some herbs. Then I also have an indoor greenhouse where I got some stuff started right now. I got some cilantro and peppers and some different herbs and stuff.
Right.
So the whole goal is to, number one, take care of myself, because I'm also a vegan. I want to know what I put into my body. Then I also like sharing my food and my stuff, and also my knowledge with friends and family, and then for people who just are, generally want to listen. And I also have a little small, business on the side, where I sell plants, then I also do plant consultations, so I do a whole lot of things related to farming and growing and just nature in general. I also forage for food. I'm also a chef, so I teach people, how to cook, plant-based. So I heard, in your intro and before you brought me on, talking about the frankenfood industry. So we'll definitely talk, because
yes,
that's right up my alley, So we have a lot in common based upon the conversation that you're having with the audience.
Right.
You and I have a lot in common. So I look forward to us chatting, off camera, off the cast.
Oh, for sure. Yes, that's definitely going to happen for sure.
Yeah.
So, and it's a beautiful thing, brother. I just want to say I commend you for being an advocate for what you're doing. Like I said, I grew up with my mother. She kept plants in the house wherever we lived at my whole childhood. She just had numerous plants throughout the house. And, like I said, I had grown a love for plants and stuff when I was a young boy. Also, realized the importance of having that as a skill. What I mean? And that's a gift. It's like I said, it's a gift, actually. And be able to hone that gift and turn it into something like what you're doing is a beautiful thing. I could imagine just the energy in that room right there. I could just imagine the feng shui. I can just imagine all the vibes in there right now when you go into a place like that. It's just a beautiful thing. And as a young man, I want to know what intrigued you to get in that. What intrigued you to really be really interested into getting into this and really taking it serious as a young man, because not too many young brothers, be into stuff like that. So I just want to know what intrigued you to do that.
I've always been intrigued by nature. I've always been fascinated by nature.
Right.
One time I had over 2,000 copies of a National Geographic magazine. Right. So I mean, I've always been interested in nature. I've always been interested in how things grow.
Right.
And then, like I said, my mom and then also my grandmother, of course, God rest her soul, they both as well, they implanted that in me, by growing plants and just having the whole houses, both of their homes were just filled with greenery.
Right.
And my grandmother, like I said, she had these cards, and just watching her go through these cards every single day and really being a self-taught botanist, having just as much knowledge and a horticulturist, just as much knowledge as anyone, that's gone to, college for 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 years.
Right.
Because they studied and they looked at those plants every day.
Right.
And same here, man, I'm self-taught. So everything that I know or don't know about plants, I learned, through trial and error. I've killed some plants, every day, I could potentially lose a plant. I'll lose a leaf. There's certain plants that I just can't grow. There's certain plants I stay away from, so like I said, anyone can grow a plant. It just comes down to doing the research, being patient, not overwatering the plant, making sure the plant is getting enough light, and just doing the research, And A lot of people are just afraid. They're afraid of killing plants. Everyone will tell you that horror story, man. Yeah, I can't do plants. I'll kill it. No, I don't want one. No, just give me an artificial plant. Everybody has a plant horror story.
Right.
So that's usually why most people shy away from plants.
Right. Well, they are living things, so you have to take care of them. You know what I mean? But when you develop this skill, or if you have the gift of doing it, you're gonna go about finding out what you need to do to make sure you extend their life to the most possible limit that it could be. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And it's actually very relaxing and very cathartic too, though.
Well, I'll give you a secret. So here's where we're missing out.
Right.
So, growing up, I remember being in high school, we would make fun of the kids that were in like 4-H, and the future farmers of America. We would make fun of them. Oh, man, you're a farmer, wearing boots and you smell like, right? Well, what we didn't know, what we didn't understand, they were in tune with the land. By being in tune with the land, when you're in tune with the land and you respect the land, you become a landowner. Right. If that makes sense. You understand what I'm saying? So now these kids that we made fun of 30, 40, 40, 50 years ago, these are now they own these big ranches and these big farms. You understand those are the people that are producing our food. We don't produce or control anything. It's because we shied away from the land. Right. And once we get back in tune with the land, everything we need is in the land. Everything we need is in the land, because every single war that's been fought has been fought over land. There's a war going over right now in Ukraine. It's been fought over land. Right. Every war, everything is fought over land, man. So we got to get back into the land, man. We got to get back into the dirt.
That's a beautiful thing to say, because it's actually facts, man. It's actual true. Yes, it is. Now,
there's no excuses. You can grow indoors. You can grow on the windowsill. There's no excuses. If you live there's guys that live in cells, prisoners, right? They got a prison cell. No sunlight. All they have is an artificial light. They grow plants. So there's no excuse, man. Anyone can grow a plant.
That's a fact. And being a guy who used to be in the joint, I'm telling you, the guys definitely be growing plants in the joint. You hear what I'm talking about?
I'm speaking facts, right?
It's the actual fact. So you know what I mean. But yeah, though, man, this is a very beautiful thing, and I'm glad to have you on tonight. Now, when it comes to growing food, I want you to speak on the importance of having the ability to grow your own food, and why is it important to have the ability to make sure if you able-bodied, it's something that you really want to look into or get into.
There's multiple reasons, and the first reason is you want to know what you're putting into your body, because these food companies, these companies that are producing our food, they have food chemists and food scientists. Why do you need a food chemist and a scientist for an apple? Exactly. It grows on a tree, or a lettuce. You know what I'm saying? So that means that they have chemists on board. That means that they're modifying the food. So that's the first thing, right? Right. So we have to be aware of that. Okay, now here's what's taking place right now. Monsanto, some of these other these large, huge, multinational agricultural companies are in cahoots with these large landowners, such as, for example, Mr. Gates, right? Right. Large, huge private landowners. So they're producing, number one, they're producing artificial foods. That's the first thing, right? Yes. So now you go to the big agriculture companies. They're producing seeds that they have patents on, right? You have to go back and buy those seeds from them. Right. You can't, and then if you grow a crop and it accidentally produces a seed, you can't harvest that seed and use that seed you have to buy the seed and feed from them. Right. So people don't understand that they're controlling everything. That's why when you walk into a grocery store, and when every tomato looks exactly the same, something's wrong. Something's crazy. When every piece of fruit looks exactly identical, that means it's cloned. That means it's genetically modified. Right. And we're consuming these foods along with the air and the water and everything else, and it's modifying us. Right. Exactly. So I don't want to go into a long tangent, because that's a whole nother
Yeah,
podcast.
that's another topic for another
Yeah.
day we can get into.
But the reason why it's so important for us to grow our food is because right now, what's taking place right now, when you walk into the grocery store, if you go to the grocery store on a weekly basis, you know, if you're a mom and you shop for your family on a weekly basis, you know exactly what's taking place in the grocery store, right? And I thank God that I'm a vegan, and I thank God that I only eat one meal a day, right? So, and that's the other thing, we have to learn how to consume. We have to really learn how to change our eating habits.
Right.
That's another thing. Once we learn how to change our eating habits, it's much easier to grow your own food, because when you grow your own food, there's no way that the average person can grow enough to feed themselves every day, 365 days out of the year. Right. So the whole idea is to grow your own food, to supplement, right? Because it's going to come a point in time here real soon to where people are not going to be able to afford groceries.
Yes.
They're not. I mean, it's just that once gas prices consistently stay at once the bottom hits and it never rises and it never goes below that again, that's the bottom. Pretty soon the new bottom for gas will be $3.50.
Right.
That's going to be the new bottom. Right. So now it'll be from $3.50 higher. So now when you start looking at gas prices at $5 a gallon, that's coming next year, right? I believe. And then you start looking at, you know, a pound of chicken, you know, costing you $9, $10. A 5-pound bag of chicken wings costing you $30 and $40.
Right.
I mean, who can afford that?
Yeah.
Right. So now you have to start thinking, well, maybe I should cut back on the meat. That's really it should be forcing us to think about our eating habits.
Right. Exactly.
How we eat. You know, how we eat and what we eat. You know, and we need to start consuming more foods that are filling for us, like, you know, like beans and legumes and things like that, that are more healthy for us and they're more filling, and they're actually better for the environment. That's the other thing with meat, you know, with the environment. So that's another reason why we should grow our own food, because they're harming the environment, you know, the way they're farming and the way they're producing the food, you know. So, man, there's a whole lot of reasons why we should start producing our own foods. I mean, there's a million and one. There really is.
Well, it really is. Now I want you, and it is. I mean, this is the reason why, and we're gonna get into this later, that such legislation is being passed to prevent my brother and brothers like him, sisters like him, from doing what they're doing in our own backyards and stuff. Now, we know about it. I want you to get into a little bit of the medicinal side, because I know that you say you're a vegan, and I know that you grow your own herbs. I'm pretty sure you come up with your own remedies and really don't take too much medicine, I would assume. Would I be right when I make that assumption?
You're absolutely correct, because food is medicine. You know, so the natural food, these plants, the foods, the edible food, that's medicine. That's really your medicine. Your medicine's in the kitchen. It's not in the medicine cabinet. You know, your medicine.
CVS, man.
Yeah, your medicine's in the kitchen. So on the medicinal side, I sometimes post videos and a lot of information on foraging and some of the herbs that are just around. It's like dandelion. They've labeled dandelion. It's a crime, right? In some communities, right? If you have a homeowner, an HOA, right, to have dandelions in your yard, they will actually fine you. Think about that. And
that's crazy.
If people only knew what dandelions and the plants and that family of plants do, you know, the thistle plants, man, they're detoxifiers. They clean your liver, your kidneys, your pancreas. Growing up, you know, Granny and them used to make dandelion wine, dandelion tea. You know what I'm saying? So not only that, there's another plant out there. It's called plantain, right? You walk by it every single day. It's a plant that's so rugged, and it's so tough that it grows in the cracks. You know, it grows in the cracks of rocks. It grows in the middle of the street. I mean, this plant is so resilient, but it's healthy, right? It's a health plant, right? It's a superfood, right? There's a plant, there's burdock root, right? That Dr. Sebi always talked about. Baba Dick Gregory, both of those men are both of my inspirations, right? My mentors, right? I learned a lot from listening to those brothers and just paying attention, just absorbing knowledge, and just once again trial and error. I also foraged for mushrooms, man. There's one day this past summer, actually twice this past summer, I went a whole week where I didn't spend any money at the grocery store. I foraged for all my food, you know. So I went outside and I just said, okay, everything that I'm going to eat this week, I'm going to find, right? And that's what I did, man. So it started with you know, you got pawpaw fruit. People don't know anything about pawpaws, and pawpaws are the only tropical fruit native to the Midwest.
Right.
Right. And they're amazing. They taste like a cross between a mango and a banana, you know.
Wow.
So that's another item. There's fresh, there's wild walnuts and hickory nuts. There's so many foods out here, man, that you can forage for that it will blow your mind. Right here next to the side of me, there's a field where me and my grandkids and my children will go out here and we'll get mulberries. You know, we'll rinse them off. Sometimes we'll freeze them. We'll make ice cream with them, frozen desserts and treats with them. So, man, my grandkids, my children, they love coming over here. Well, my daughter, I should say. All my children are grown, but they love coming over because there's no TVs, man. We just go, we get outside in nature and we just have fun. You know what I'm saying? My grandson, he'll go get fresh, you know, tomatoes off the vine. This past weekend, I snuck some eggplant into his food, and even though he was eating eggplant, you know.
Right.
So, man, it's just right now, our children, a lot of our children, a great deal of our children and adults, they don't eat any veggies.
Right.
No fruit whatsoever. They go to the corner store, they get some wings, they get some pizza, and they get some Takis. You know what I'm saying? It's bad out here, man. Our health. That's why we're dropping dead left and right, man.
That's a fact.
Because of our diet, you know. So we got to change our diet.
Definitely. Shout out to Lacey in the building. We got my brother, Mr. O, my Joe from Chicago, with the info in the building. Lacey say, good evening. Can you share some simple steps for preparing soil for gardening?
Excellent. Thank you for asking. First of all, you have to identify what type of soil you have. Okay.
Right.
And there's some steps that you can. First of all, when you dig in your soil, you're going to have mainly what state are you in?
I believe she's in California, Northern California.
Oh, you're going to have the best soil then. Preparing your soil, oh man, you're going to have great weather. That's great growing weather up there. Start saving veggie scraps, banana skin, banana peels, apples, all of your veggies.
She's in Georgia, bro. That's even better.
Oh, that's even better. So start saving. Go to Lowe's. Get yourself a couple 5-gallon buckets, right? A couple 5-gallon buckets. Right. Take one of the buckets, drill a couple holes in it, insert that inside the other bucket. Get yourself a lid. Start saving your food and veggie scraps. Set it outside, set it up high so no critters or animals can get to it. Put a rock or something on top of it. Start saving your veggie scraps. And then also your dryer lint. So start teaching yourself how to compost, right? And then after that, once you get that bucket full, you take it outside and you dump it right into your dirt. Dump it right into your soil. Wherever you're going to plant your garden, right? You start getting that soil ready. You start working it in. Get yourself a tarp, cover that. Get yourself some bricks, and get yourself a big tarp. You can get it at low. Everything that I'm suggesting to you shouldn't cost you more than $50. Right. Get yourself a tarp at Lowe's and you cover that. You start preparing the soil. Naturally, right? And what you want to see bugs, you want to see insects, and you want to see earthworms, right? Those are your friends, right? And the two most important friends that you can have in your garden are ladybugs and spiders. Don't kill ladybugs and don't kill spiders. Ladybugs are assassins. Right? So start preparing your soil that way. If you don't want to compost, if you don't want to do that, then go to your nearest bait store, right? Find out where you're going to plot your garden at, dig that out, right? And dump those earthworms in there and cover them up. And let the earth spread wherever you're going to plot your garden at, just cover it with earthworms. night crawlers and let them go to work. And what earthworms do is not only do they churn the soil and they aggregate it as they start to when they defecate, they have worm casings. They're mucus, right? And that's one of the best fertilizers. It's called worm tea, right? So that fertilizes the soil, right? And if you got yourself some leaves, you can throw some leaves down there, some leaves, grass clippings, right? So you're trying to add nutrients to the soil. You're trying to get that soil prepared, right? And that's easy, right? Those steps right there, you can get yourself $10 worth of earthworms, $15 worth of earthworms at the bait store. And that's it. And grass clippings and leaves, you can go to your neighbor's yard that's got them bagged up and just you can get them free if you don't have them have your own. So there's a lot of things that you can do that don't cost you very much money to get your soil.
My man Lance Parker said, "What about mantids for pest control?"
Mantis?
Mantid. He said mantid. Well, he probably meant to say mantis.
Praying mantis?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Any natural predator, praying mantis, ladybugs, spiders, absolutely. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, Lacey said thank you.
Yeah, because, they won't eat your crops. That's why they're good to have.
Right. You talking about the ladybugs?
Ladybugs, praying mantises, and spiders.
Right. They won't eat your crops, man. Hit that like button, y'all. Click on the bell, subscribe to the page, share on your social engineer. You know what I'm saying? We got my brother, the Plant Poppy 614 in the building.
Save your seeds. If you eat bell peppers, save the seeds. If you eat onions, when you cut your onion, right, cut the top third off, right? And you can plant that right in the soil. That'll grow. So start saving seeds. Like if you go to the store, maybe make a sacrifice and buy something organic once or twice that has some seeds in it, right? And save the seeds. Save your own seeds. Man, I got so many damn seeds around here. It's crazy. People think I'm crazy.
Seeds don't come in handy one of these days, man. Yeah. All these big agri companies got big, huge silos full of seeds. You hear me? Underground and everything, man. They got a whole system set up where they saving seeds. You know what I'm talking about? So why wouldn't us do it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, hit that like button, y'all. Click on the bell, subscribe to the page, man. We got my brother Plant Poppy 614 in the building.
Hey, save your seeds.
Yeah, definitely save your seeds. My mom used to always tell me that, and my grandma used to tell me that too before she passed.
You can also compost your tea bags.
See, there goes some more game for y'all. You can use your tea bags as compost if you drink tea. Save the tea bags.
You can compost brown paper bags as long as they don't have a bunch of ink on them. You can compost brown cardboard boxes as long as they don't have a bunch of ink, print, and glue on them. You know what I'm saying? So you can compost that. You can recycle that. You can recycle black and white newspaper. I would stay away from colored newspaper, but black and white newspaper. There are a lot of things that you can compost and recycle, though, that actually will help save you some money, right, by producing your own soil, but they'll also reduce your footprint, your carbon footprint.
Right. And that's a beautiful thing. And I'm glad that you just said that, because that's segueing into my next question I want to ask you. Are you familiar with the climate action and resilient plans?
Yeah. Right. And everybody should be.
Yes, they should. Now, as far as you being what we consider, I guess, a local farmer, right? Mm-hmm. Independent farmer, right? Considering the climate action resilient plans, which are the ordinances and different laws being administered through the United Nations, right? And
should have no jurisdiction in the United States. They should
the fact that and that's another topic for another day. Yeah. But we have these things being administered through the UN, and they're having an effect on even now the local areas in our cities in America and all over the world, mind y'all. That's due to this global sustainability thing. You know what I'm saying? They're making it basically illegal eventually is what the plan is, for my brother to be doing what he's doing, because what he's doing is not sustainable. It cannot be tracked and traced by the incoming smart grid. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? How long have I been telling y'all about this stuff? So I want you to go up there, brother, and explain to the people from your perspective and your experience how this is, if not already had an effect on what you're able to do, or just having the knowledge you have in it, where you see where it's going.
Well, they already. I'm also a real estate agent, right?
Also, you really know what's going on.
So if you understand property rights, water rights, air rights, they're using words and laws against us, right? And we don't, and most people don't understand, laws. They're crafty with those laws, man. So basically they're trying to make it illegal for you. They're trying to restrict you from doing anything. That's why they're putting, for instance, you got AEP, they're putting in all these smart meters, right? They're putting in smart everything. Everything is smart now. And the reason why it's smart, because everything's communicating with one another, right? It's the internet of now, right? The internet of things, IoT.
The internet of things.
So if you understand the blockchain, and if you understand it's all, if you go back and watch the Terminator and the Matrix a couple times, because it's really the same movie. The system really was way ahead of time. But if you understand,
shout out to Sophia Stewart, man.
Yeah, exactly. So they're trying to they're trying to really control everything. They're trying to control every single thing. So that's why I've taught myself how to grow indoors. I want to teach myself how to grow air plants. I want to teach myself how to grow off of sponges. They're not going to stop me. I'm going to teach myself, man. I want to grow in toilets. I want to grow in the bathtub.
Right.
If there's a wheel, I'm going to grow in the goddamn washer and the dryer. I'm going to figure it out, right? So the key is understanding what they're trying to do, why they're trying to do it, understanding that the bigger picture, and understanding that all these there's a whole lot of things that they're doing, and that they're really trying to do is they're trying to reduce the population. Right. They're trying to control the population, and there's a few of us who care, but most people just don't care, man. They got a 9 to 5. Pookie's out here is out here stealing cars, and there's people just caught up in the day-to-day things. They ain't got time. They're trying to get to the drive-thru to get some takeout so they can take. So, yeah, man, they have us living in a hurry. Everything's in a hurry. They're trying to break everything into 15-second sound bites. Everything, your whole life, sound bite, sound bite. You know what I'm saying? So like the young brother, God rest his soul, the young brother in the Migos, right? Who just passed unfortunately a few days ago, right? A sound bite. He'll be forgotten about because then it'll be another one, right? It was just P&B Rock, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So they keep us so in such a tailspin, just man, in chaos. It's just really chaos. So you really don't have time to sit back and stop and just pay attention to. You're losing all your rights and you don't even realize it.
Right.
Slowly but surely. But surely. So if you don't control your food and your education,
it's a wrap. You pretty much are primed and prepped at that point to be enslaved. Like you're the typical poster child, slave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been talking about these climate action and resilient plans, brother, for a long time. You hear me? I've been talking about these climate action and resilient plans for a long time. And I want people to really enter out of understand exactly what these climate action and resilient plans actually mean. See, under the disguise of telling us that we need to reduce how we consume energy, right? We need to live more resilient. See, and this is something too, man, I want to touch on, man. You know what I'm saying? They done convoluted and inflated the definition of resilient. They done switched it up. Resilience used to be defined as, your ability to bounce back from adversity or trying situations and times and experiences. Now, resilience means your ability to take less and less and less and have to do more with less and less and less. You understand what I said when I just said what I said? How that's different now? And now we have this climate action and resilience plans being administered through the United Nations, trickling down to the local governments, which is totally contrary to everything right and exact, seeing as how the United Nations, a foreign entity, a collection, conglomerate of foreign entities, have any influence on what we do in so-called America, United States of America, right? And I just think that y'all really need to look into the climate action and resilient plans. Just do it. Just whatever city you from, whatever city you are from. I don't care what city you from, what country you from, right? Type in your city and then type next to it climate action and resilient plan and see what you get. What it is with these climate action resilient plans is like ordinances and zoning laws and stuff like that being changed and circumvented to where we have to depend on the so-called system for our energy purpose. And you heard my brother talk about the smart meters. Y'all remember when I was telling y'all about the smart meters? See, now it's just the electric ones. Now they're about to have the water ones coming out. They're getting rid of natural gas. You hear me? Pay attention to what's going on. Now, brother, I want you to sit up there and tell us, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to growing indoors versus growing outdoors, what's the similarities and what is the difference between the two?
Well, the three biggest ones are, the biggest one is the light, right?
Right.
Because nothing beats the sun. Nothing, no artificial light, nothing beats the sun. Because the sun, not only does the sun goes down, around, up. I mean, nothing beats the sun. Nothing beats the sun. So that's the biggest detriment to growing indoors is the lighting. So you got to make sure that you have the proper lighting, right? Number two, you have less room for error indoors than you do outdoors, right? Because outdoors you can work the soil a little different. You don't really need to fertilize the soil too much outdoors, because the way I prepare my soil, it fertilizes itself, self-fertilizing. So indoors, there's a little more care that you have to take indoors. You have better control over pests and also rodents and things like that, birds who that want to get to your crops. You have a little better control indoors than you do outdoors. You're limited with space, indoors. Mainly you want to try to go vertical indoors, versus outdoors. But those are really the three biggest ones are lighting, your space limitations, and then you have less room for error, more room for error. So those are the three biggest. But the biggest one is lighting. You got to make sure you have the right lighting, and so it's key that you have lighting that's not going to draw too much heat and it's not going to waste too much energy. So the LED lighting is the way to go.
Right.
Yeah, LED lighting.
That's a good game for you. So I hope y'all soaking up this game. And I already knew when the brother come on, it was going to be hella gems drop, man, because anybody who can have that amount of plants in their house, they ain't got them there just because they there, man. They got them there for a reason. That's
yeah.
Now,
So
man,
yeah. But yeah, we're trying to go full scale, man. Eventually, the goal is to we want to start opening up a mentoring class, for adolescents, for the young people. I want to start teaching young people how to grow, how to get back in touch with nature, because people are ashamed of people are embarrassed by farmers. They're embarrassed
that's crazy to me.
To get in the dirt, man. All the names they call the farmers, you hillbilly, this, that, and the other, but. Man, the world's first profession, the world's very first profession was farming, so it's a very honorable profession. And young people, when you grow something, man, and you watch it grow, and especially when you grow food and you're able to eat it, man, and then you're able to take that and give it to someone and then watch them eat it and know that you fed somebody, man, that's it's very fulfilling, very uplifting. So young people can get back in touch with that. It'll change them, man. It'll turn them around because they'll be responsible for that. When you're responsible for a life, it changes you. You treat life differently. You're very more respectful of life when you're responsible for life.
That's definitely a fact, and that's definitely true. I gotta agree with you on that. So everybody hit that like button, y'all. Click on the bell, subscribe to the page. We got my brother, the Plant Poppy 614.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? You already know what it is, man. We dropping these jewels on this horticulture and this botany and this garden, man. It's a very important skill to have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I appreciate the brother coming on the show tonight. Now I want you to when it come to because I'm pretty sure, you know, when you're growing your own food, of course, when you have and depending on but one thing I noticed is you'd be surprised how much food can be produced from not a huge plot of land. You hear me? And I want you to go up there and drop some game and some jewels, brother, on how to store our food properly when we get into growing our own food, so we get the best use out of it.
I'm glad you asked. I have. That's why it's important to know what type of crops to grow. First of all, what do you want to grow? What are your favorite fruits? What are your favorite veggies? Right, and then once you identify that, okay, what varieties? Right, what's going to produce the most amount of food in the quickest amount of time? Right. Sometimes you get 2 crops. You know, you can get 2 crops in 1 year outdoors. So that's the first thing, determining, you know, what do you want to grow, right? And then from there, once you determine what you want to grow, then you start working the soil, making sure you got enough light, you know, making sure that you have the proper type of tools to work the soil, making sure that you have the proper type of fertilizer for that particular crop that you're growing, because some plants they have different nutrient requirements if you don't know what you're doing with the soil, right? So it's not all soil is created the same. So now let's move on. Okay, so now you've identified, you know, that your food's growing. Now you've grown that food. Now you got the food. Now what do you do with the food, right? So now you need to start teaching yourself, you know, how to process that food, how to can that food. You know, what's your end goal with the food? Are you going to save it and can it? Are you going to give it away? Are you going to sell it? You know, so you have to, you know, what's the end goal? For me, for instance, I had a plot of tomatoes that I grew this year, and I've grown tomatoes for years, right? But this year was the first year I grew this variety of tomatoes called Black Krim, right? Krim is the Ukrainian word for Crimea, which is an area over there in Russia, right? Which is where they're over there fighting right now. So anyway, so this because it's a cold weather variety of tomato, this damn tomatoes plant is still growing, man. I still got green tomatoes outside in November. And this plant out there, I started that plant indoors last year in November. Started it indoors, transplanted it outside, and it's still growing. It's still producing tomatoes. So right now I got a freezer full of tomatoes. So what I did was I took some, I froze some, right? And you can process them. You can. There's so many ways to process them. You can cut them in half, freeze them, right? Get the air off the bag, right? You can boil them, immediately chill them down, and then take this in an ice bath. Take the skins off. You can process them that way. Or you can. I did some where I cored them. I cut them in half. I baked them with some onions and some garlic, and I roasted them. And then when they came out of I let them cool down, and then I took threw them in the blender and made some pasta sauce. Threw that in the freezer. So now from that tomato sauce, I can make chili. I can make pasta sauce. I can make all different types of sauces with that. Right. I gave some away. I gave a hell of tomatoes away. Sold some tomatoes, right? Donated some. So that's the tomatoes. And then and then I also grew peppers, right? So you get yourself some olive oil. I just take I drop peppers in my olive oil. I'll drop peppers in vinegar, right? And I'll dry some out, dehydrate them, grind them up. Now you got your own ground up cayenne pepper or Thai chili pepper. So that's with the peppers. And then also I grew eggplant, and then also squash and cucumbers. So you can also, once again, you teach yourself how to can, right? So there's so many different ways that you can process that food, man. Like with eggplant, first you want to bake it, right? And then you want to freeze it, because eggplant it's nothing but pretty much but water. So that's why you want to bake it first. If you don't bake it first, when you freeze it, it'll form ice crystals. So there's a lot of, you got to do some research. There's some work involved. But anything that you like right now, I had some sage that I processed, and I made sage stick. I got smudge sticks. Let me show you what I'm talking about real quick. So there's a whole lot that you can do with the food and the stuff that you grow, man. You can donate it. You can develop a way to maybe develop a side hustle, side business for yourself. Sage smudge sticks, you know what I'm saying? So there's so much that you can do, man, with the food that you grow. Like herbs, right? Everybody likes basil. Everybody uses parsley, thyme, cilantro, So there's a lot that you can do with the stuff that you grow. For instance, I'll give some people a quick secret. Cilantro, you should grow cilantro. Number one, it's a superfood. Number two, when you grow cilantro, it actually produces two herbs. The cilantro plant, those are the leaves that you use, right? That you mainly see in Mexican foods, right? The seeds of the cilantro plant is called coriander, right? So you get two products from one plant, right? So if you
you breaking up a little bit, brother.
Yeah. So get some knowledge, folks. Do some research. You can reach out to me. I'll give you my information, and I'll share my knowledge with you as much as I can for free right now. Right.
But not to be told, man. We got my man Lance.
Information is always going to be free. You can't keep it, give it away.
My man Lance Parker, he said, what's your thoughts on indoor vertical gardens that has pumps which cycle the water from the top to the bottom? I think vertical growing facilities could be a game changer.
You mean like that?
You mean like that? There you go, right there. You already ahead of the game, Lance Parker, man.
I'm already ahead of the game, man. I got a tower garden in there. Last year I grew some lettuce and some other herbs and stuff and spices indoors. So this year I'm going to expand it even further. I've done some more research. I found out that I can grow strawberries and a few other things indoors. So here in about a month or so, I'm going to have the tower garden growing. Right now I got my little greenhouse right here, and I've already started, in the soil. I got chives, I got cilantro, peppers, dill, spinach. You can see my tomatoes that came from the garden right there. I got them processing, and then that's the rest of the garden. I got avocado up here growing. I also got dates. I decided I love dates, so I might as well start growing them. That's an avocado plant right there. So we got a lot going on, man. It's all about trial and error, trying to figure out what grows, what doesn't grow. They can do whatever they want. They can come in here and take all these plants, but they can't take what's in here. So that's what it's all about, man. Just figuring out, getting the knowledge and then just doing it. Don't talk about it, just do it. Get the knowledge, get you some dirt, and just plant a seed. Plant a seed. Just plant a seed.
Right. Now I want you to go ahead, because I heard you mention earlier. I want you to talk about, and this my man Lance Parker just asked about too. I want you to talk about how I noticed you mentioned the Internet of Things, right? And I want you to talk about how through the Internet of Things, natural food is being phased out. And I want you to talk about your knowledge on that and give us your take on how this is being implemented in society.
Well, they figured out how to. Once they figured out how to reverse engineer food and grow it in the laboratories, now they can mass produce food in petri dishes.
Right.
From bacteria, right? They can take bacteria, right, and they can make food with that, right? So now they've taken it to the next phase. Now they're using robots, right, to produce the food, right? So now that's the next phase. Now they have AI that's controlling the robots to produce the food, right? Now they have augmented reality to now where the farmers, it's telling the farmers aren't even farmers anymore. These guys are engineers, right? It tells these guys when to plant the seed, when to water, when to fertilize, when to harvest, when to rotate, when to do this, when to do that. And everything's controlled by computers now. Even the pumping the cows, getting the milk from the cows, Everything's controlled by AI. So pretty soon what they're doing is they're phasing the farmers out.
Right.
They're phasing the farmers out. If there's no farmers left to still point, hey, no, that's not right.
Right.
Now you got all robots, computers running everything, right? So who's to say that that's real milk? Is that real milk? Is that synthetic milk? Right? Is that real rice? Is that plastic rice? So now everything is it's all about, of course, the bottom line. So if they can produce it in the lab, they're going to produce it in the lab. That's it. That's the bottom line. That's it. So so now with the Internet of Things, the Internet of Things, now once again I told people to go back and watch The Terminator, and you'll get a clear idea of what the Internet of Things is. It's everything coming together. Now you have refrigerators that talk to one another, right? You ever notice how you talk on your cell phone and you talk, or you set your cell phone down and you're talking to somebody, you're having a general conversation, you pick up your phone and there's an Amazon ad scrolling across the screen telling you to buy what you just talked to your friend about. That's the Internet of Things. They listening to everything. These smart light bulbs, everything that's smart. If it's smart, it has a microphone in it. It's capable of listening. And if it's smart, they can listen. They can hear. So the Internet of Things is literally that. The Internet of Things. It's everything being connected. Your cars, everything. I mean, they can start your car. They can get into your car. You can control your car with your phone. I mean, they're stealing these cars with phone jacks.
Right.
A $10,000 Hyundai Elantra been stolen with a phone cord. So think about that. So that's where we're going. That's the Internet of Things. Everything is going to be connected via AI. Everything, every single thing is going to be. That's the whole goal. Even all the way down to me trying to go into the store to buy if I buy a seed sold by Monsanto, it has a barcode.
Right.
That seed is scanned. It's scanned by the store. They have your information. That's why they collect all your information with these shoppers' cards, and they got everywhere you go. They got your information, right? So now they scan. So now they know that who bought that seed. They got your address. They know that you planted your seed. So now who says that they can't send somebody by? Who knows? That seed may have a code in it to where they can scan it. They got satellites. Man, I wouldn't put anything past them. I would not put anything past them. I wouldn't, because I have plants. There are some plants that have metallic properties.
Right. Naturally.
So if it has a metallic property naturally, why can't it be introduced artificially? So they can track it, right? So that's pretty much where it's going right now. Yeah.
That's exactly where it's going. You know what I mean? And when we're talking about the Internet of Things, it's concerning the food supply, and when it comes to being able to farm, like I say, the main thing about what my brother is doing, and this is why I wanted to have him on the show, because what he's doing is very, very brave considering what's coming in. Like I told, they're saying everything is unsustainable. You hear me? Y'all got to pay attention to these words that's about to be being put in the lexicon through the media. Words like sustainable, resilience. You hear me? Pay attention to these words, and because like I said, they don't mean what they used to mean. When they're talking about sustainable, they're talking about what can be tracked and be traced by the smart grid. Now, you notice that my man just said everything is communicating with each other. How long have I been telling y'all about this? The SMART stands for strategic, military, armaments, and residential technologies. Your TV's communicating with your refrigerator, your stove, your microwave, your washing machine, your air fryer, your smartphone, your smart car, your smart meter on the back of your house, all being ran and powered by 5, 6, and 7G frequencies that they're about to have on these meters every 300 yards on our residential areas. And this is why they coming for guys like my brother right here, because when you have a property and you own it and you got a lot of foliage on, you got a lot of green plants on it, that is not conducive for the transmission of these frequencies, right? Unsustainable. Your house with a stone concrete structure, foundation, not sustainable, not conducive to transmitting these frequencies. It's unsustainable. And I want y'all to understand that the climate action and resilient plans has been put in place to basically asset strip us. Now, you hear my brother talk about food shortages and the genetically modified food. So I want you to sit up there and tell us about your experience and knowledge and perception, or as far as genetically modified foods, and the main reason why you touched on it a little bit earlier, but go a little bit more in depth on why they want to genetically modify the food.
Because they're playing a long game, and we don't understand what pure evil is, right? People don't understand what pure evil is. People understand evil, but not like pure evil, like where every thought, every action, everything is just how to kill, and make more money, just pure evil, right? So when you have that, when you understand that, then everything else will make sense. So when you're able to genetically modify food, they can put switches in food. They have food. They have seeds now that are like, for instance, years ago, there's an insect called the boll weevil that used to decimate cotton crops, right? Now they have cotton seeds that are boll weevil resistant, right? They've built an insecticide inside that seed that will kill a boll weevil, right? So they've had that technology for decades.
Long time.
So if they can do that to an insect, what makes you think they can't turn on the switch for a human, right? And what makes you think they can't make it ethnic specific, right? If sickle cell and certain traits are ethnic specific, right? Why can't you do this? Why can't you make diseases that are so? If you can't think that far ahead, then you're already doomed anyway, right? So now when you take GMO foods, right, and it means exactly that,
genetically
modified organism,
right.
So that means you're eating something that's been modified from its original state. It's been altered, right? So if it's been altered on the outside, what is it going to do on the inside? What is that? What are those combination of GMO foods do? See, they tell you that, okay, this GMO food is good. It's healthy for you.
Right.
But what happens when I mix it with this GMO food and then this chemical? And then what happens if it reverts back to its... So there's so much that goes on in these GMO foods that if you don't stop and really think,
right,
and really make a conscious decision to start reading the ingredients, you'll be surprised that pretty much everything now has some type of GMO in it. Almost everything.
Literally everything.
Almost everything now has been genetically modified, and you go, wow, how did that happen? And so it happened because of the government and lobbyists, and you can talk on and on. You can go. I can tell you that's a whole nother podcast on how it happened.
Definitely is. That's a whole other show.
Not the how, but now we should be worried about the why.
Yes.
The why.
Why? Cui bono? Who benefits? Who's benefiting from selling? How does we as a society benefit from Monsanto selling Terminator seeds?
Yeah.
How do we benefit from that?
Yeah.
My brother mentioned earlier about how these seeds are patented, and if for some reason it's found that these seeds, and this is how this happened too. When Monsanto was first coming into the power that they are now with this genetically modified food and all this power they just been given from the USDA and the FDA, they used to have trucks riding around the country blowing seeds on the people's property and stuff, right? So as they're so-called traveling them or transporting them, so these farmers are coming up with crops, right, that are Monsanto seeds, these Terminator seeds, and just blowing off of the trucks into people's land and growing and sprouting. And what these companies do, like Monsanto's, they have their auditors go around. When people, when you're a farmer and you're a massive producer farmer, it's all type of like paperwork you got to do. It's people that come and check on stuff, all type of different assessment officers and stuff like that to come by your property and all that stuff. And Monsanto has lobbied and, got their hands and connected into all these different organizations, especially through the USDA and the FDA and Big Agra. Monsanto run Big Agra, and they're a biotech firm. That's dangerous. You hear me? So I want you to sit up there and break us down a little bit because I know you know about it, man. I want you to talk to them about why people like Bill Gates, people like Bezos, you know what I'm saying? Why are they buying up so much land?
Well, when you control the land, you control everything, right?
Talk to them.
So what they are doing is they're the first step in the depopulation plan. It's been going on forever, but now they're making it. Let's put it this way: they're now working on the quote unquote the final solution, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're now going to start introducing not only mass-produced artificial foods on a mass-produced basis, but they're also going to start setting up these camps, right? Camps, right? So how can 2 or 3 individuals be quote unquote the largest private landholders? How can they control billions of acres in this country? When you start thinking about, man, they still owe some people 40 acres, right?
Right.
So when you start thinking about the shell game and just the hustle that they're putting over on us, right before our eyes, right, that people aren't even aware what's taking place. They're not even paying attention. They don't care because they've been bombarded with so much, man, that right beneath our eyes, this guy is 3 people, Bezos, Gates, and Soros.
Right.
And then the brothers, the 2 brothers from Kansas, Koch brothers.
Oh yeah, the Koch brothers.
Koch, yeah. Those are the 5 largest private landholders probably in the world, man. They own half the country.
Right.
They own half the country. They literally own half this country. And
Soros owns a lot of land, and he acquired it through his Open Society Foundation, Network Foundation.
I don't think people realize really how much land they own. So when people say, man, well, that's okay. If something happened, I'll just run off. I'll run and hide off, run off into nature.
No.
No, you own somebody's private property now.
Yes.
Can't run off into nature. Can't run off.
Not only that, though.
So
not only that, though.
Yeah.
You heard me talk about earlier. You heard me mention the Wildlands Project and the Wildlands Urban Interface, right? What they call the WUI and the UGBs, the Urban Growth Boundaries. Man, y'all better get in. Listen here, man. The Wildlands Project, right? Y'all go look into this. You know what I'm saying? This show's about my brother tonight, so we ain't gonna get into the. I could pull it up on the screen and all that, but that's another topic for another day. This is about my brother tonight, but just to briefly speak on it, y'all can go Google the Wildlands Project. This is a contingency plan for global sustainability in America through UN Agenda 2030, right? And the Wildlands Project is a future plan, right, that they have set already in place, right, to where they're going to basically section up the country for different use. And when you look at this map of the Wildlands Project, they're going to be, and this is why all the redistricting is going on. This is why the gentrification is going on, because they're cramming us all into urban growth boundaries. Y'all hear me talk about this all the time when I talk about the mega cities and the mega regions. I'll be telling y'all to go watch movies like Dread. You hear me?
They're doing it in China. They're doing it in China right now.
Yeah, they do. They've been doing it in China. I got artificial cities out there.
It's going to be the United States eventually. There's going to be like maybe 4 to 8 mega cities, megaplexes. Right. Yeah, right. like Escape to New York, Escape to LA.
Yeah, mega. They call it the mega regions, right? Yep. Mega cities. If you watch the movie Dread, they have this takes place in a city called Mega City 1, where it's 800 million people living in that city.
That's why they're scorching the West. That's why they keep setting all them fires out there.
Exactly. It's going down. You hear me? UN Agenda 2030 for global sustainability, y'all. Y'all better pay attention to that. Now, you spoke on this too early. I want to touch on this, right? Now, y'all got to think what year it is right now, man. It's 2022. UN Agenda 2030 is y'all gotta realize what's happening in what is planned and set to happen in 2030, 8 years from now. You hear me? UN Agenda 2030. By the year 2030, they plan to reach full capitulation of global sustainability, which is why we're seeing what we're seeing now with the oncoming of the smart grid and the metaverse, right? We're seeing all this stuff happening to guys like my brother right here who are farmers and horticulturists that see how they're preventing us from being able to sustain ourselves, you know, because when you take when my man has the ability, my brother right here has the ability to grow his own food, you cannot control him. You can't put your little genetically modified food in him to alter his DNA and get him synced and leaked unwittingly to the smart grid through the nanotech that they're putting in these genetically modified food, right? And I want y'all to understand the main reason why I'm having my brother on the show tonight. Of course, we want to advocate for, you know, growing your own food and, you know what I'm saying, having that skill and, you know, being able to share that with everybody else because it's important and we're going to definitely do that. And that's a beautiful thing. But I also want y'all to see, right, that due to things like Agenda 2030, everything's going on, how dangerous it's also becoming because, you know what I'm saying, you got to realize how much freedom that you are providing for yourself and potentially a community as well, to where when you have land, which is why they're not letting people buy land like that. The land bank is a scam. You hear me? If you ask me personally, you know what I'm saying? But, you know what I mean? And they want to prevent people from being able to grow their own food and stuff because that will mean that you don't need to be connected to the system. And I just did 1984 on Monday, y'all. You hear me? And this is where it's coming to, man. Now, I'm glad, man, the mega regions and the mega cities, man, this is the smart grid in full effect. And when I'm talking about the Wildlands Urban Interface and the Wildlands Project, they want to, when you look at the Wildlands Project, they got the country sectioned up. They want to use the air, and this is why they're getting the farmers off the land. This is why they're getting the people off the land, get them off the land. You heard my brother say the land is key. Did you see what's going on in the rural areas of our country? If you pay attention, you see that they're being basically hostile taken over. You hear me? And because they're forcing everybody to move into the cities. You hear me? The mega regions. And with the Wildlands Urban Interface, my brother right here, I love having conversations with people like my brother right here. You heard him mention about the fires in California. This was the implementation now throughout the whole country due to what happened in Paradise. Paradise is no longer here. The whole entire city was destroyed. It's crazy, right? Now the Wildlands Urban Interface is the implementation of certain legislation to incorporate how we're going to prevent certain areas from catching fire, like what happened in Paradise. And through the interface, that means the interfacing of using what? Smart, unintelligent, artificial intelligent technology, smart grid, smart meters on the house. The Wildlands Urban Interface is going to be the boundary that, you know what I'm saying, where you could live to where you have to be connected to the grid and because in order in case of a fire, because with this new technology that's coming to the smart grid, they predict a lot of fires because it draws a lot of heat. These smart meters, and not only that, these smart meters can be used as weapons, if you would, if you don't comply, right? Y'all better understand where this is going, man. You hear me? I've been telling y'all this stuff for years. And here we are right here. You hear me? And my brother's a prime example because, as you see, he's well aware and informed himself. You know what I mean? Now, I want you to explain and tell us a little bit about, you know what I mean, that program I heard you mention earlier where you want to get it to where, you know what I'm saying, we're doing work in the community and having programs and stuff set up. I want you to go a little bit more in depth than that to the extent that you can, you know what I mean, and how's that going along, and when, if we could expect a certain region of time to see when it comes into fruition.
I'm gonna be honest with you. We need. There's a garden, for instance, right across the street from my house. Right, there's a community garden, and free access. Anyone in the neighborhood, anyone, right?
Right.
No one utilized it. No one utilized it. Right? No one utilized it. I mean, I gave away. There was been times where I would set up my stand outside to give away free veggies. Nobody would come and get them. No, I'm okay. So it starts with it has to go back down to the basics. And the only way to get back to the basics is we have to get the young people.
Right.
Because adults, I hate to say this, but a lot of adults are so set in their ways. And what I mean by that is their eating habits, right? And if you don't change your eating habits, you won't grow food. You won't grow young. Right. You just won't. Right? If you eat out a lot and if you eat a bunch of unhealthy foods, then you won't grow food. Right? It's going to have to. Typically, what happens is it's a health scare, or people just generally want to change how they eat. Right?
Yeah.
And then they'll start growing food. But if you're not interested in changing your diet and how you eat, then you won't. They kind of go hand in hand.
Right.
You know, because the other thing is once you start growing your own food, you start becoming conscious on waste. You know, you start, you waste less. And by me being a vegan and only eating one meal a day, I hardly have any waste. Like I spent last week on food, I spent $5 on food for the whole week. I brought a container of garlic. And that was it for the whole week. I spent less than $5, So we just really have to start disciplining ourselves, man. That's really the key. Once it all goes hand in hand.
Yes.
Making sure you eat properly. You change your eating habits. Then you start growing. That holistic lifestyle, they go hand in hand. That's why sometimes when people they'll ask me, "Well, man, I need to lose 10 pounds, and what's the secret?" I'm like, I can tell you something quick, but if you lose it quick, you're gonna gain it back quick.
Right.
You have to change your lifestyle. It's a lifestyle change. It's not just a quick fix thing. You have to change your lifestyle. It's not a diet. I'm telling people, I don't do diets. I can teach you how to change your lifestyle.
Right.
I can't teach you how anybody can diet. You can go to the internet and pick up a diet. Just pick up any, meeny, miny, mo. But changing your lifestyle, that's different.
Whole different situation.
Yeah, that's different.
Right. And when it comes to eating healthy and eating properly, it's going to be a huge effort with us because we've been so programmed to consume the food that we've consumed. Like my brother said, most people ain't about to sit up here and go in their backyard. Even if you got a house, you ain't about to go in your backyard and measure out a plot of land and dig up this land soil and make rows and just sit down and decide what you're going to grow, how much of it you want to grow. Like that's work though, man. That's the type of work that's been basically deleted from our motherboard, so to speak, man. You know what I mean? And this is another reason why it's been done, so we could become more dependent upon the system. And now this new system is coming in that doesn't even want to, have anything to do with any type of independence. You know what I mean? This is we talking about being considered a criminal for growing your own food. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's becoming very, very ill and it's coming very, very prominent in our society. And like I said, I've been telling y'all about this forever. You hear me? And like I said, now here we are in Agenda 2030 for global sustainability. You hear me? I suggest y'all go look into it. Now, my brother mentioned earlier that George Soros owns a lot of land in our country, especially. That's a fact. I just want to drop this on y'all real quick. You know what I'm saying? what y'all know about our brother Kobe Bryant? Rest in the essence to me, right? The land where his helicopter crashed at, guess who owns that land? George Soros. Right. So when we talk about these people, this very small group of people who have this overwhelmingly influence to the point to where they can make us party to contracts that totally go against common law, totally go against the original Constitution. And not only that, right, profit from it at the detriment of our very health and ability to do what my brother is doing. All right. You know what I'm saying? So I want y'all to understand the importance of tonight's show. I want y'all to understand the importance of how important of it and the importance of it for us to have brothers like my brother Abdul. You hear me? You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing. Now, when it comes to growing indoors, I would imagine there's things you can grow indoors that you probably can't, we're not gonna say you can't grow outdoors, but it's probably like more geared for growing indoors. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to like herbs and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So when you come to growing indoors, you know what I mean? What's the is it more care for the plants that's indoors or the ones that's outdoors as far as the food as well?
There's more care indoors. Like I said, outdoors. If you're protected from from animals,
right,
then you're fine because it rains. Plus you're getting the sun, right? So sometimes, like I said, it's a little more forgiving outdoors, right?
Right.
Indoors, you can sometimes have insect problems where a disease can go from plant to plant to plant. So you really got to watch it. You really have to be careful indoors, right?
Right.
Now, as far as foods that are almost very difficult to grow indoors, will be like your trailing plants, like your gourd plants, like watermelon, zucchini, squash. They're trailer plants. They big pumpkins. They have long roots, long stem, big old huge leaves, and they consume a lot of energy and they need a lot of sun. Right. I'll tell you a funny story. I used to compost, so sometimes I would mix. I went to a batch of compost where I had a bunch of squash seeds and pumpkin seeds, right? So I would just have random plants inside my house, and they would squash and pumpkins would just start growing, right? And the seeds, if you ever look at the leaves on pumpkins and squash, those type of plants, because they all look alike until they start producing the actual fruit, right?
Right.
But the leaves are huge. And the bigger the leaf, that means the more energy that it consumes. It's like a fan. It's like a satellite dish. It's taking in all this energy from the sun, right? So that's pretty much what leaves are. They're conductors, right? They're solar cells, pretty much. So the bigger the leaf, the more energy consumption. So you have to think about that when you're growing indoors, right? What plants are going to take the most energy? Sometimes I'll see a plant, and I'll deliberately sacrifice that plant. Right. I'll take that plant and I'll merge it with another plant because I'll say that plant is too small in that pot. I have to water that plant, provide for that plant. I need to get rid of that plant. I need to combine, have 4 or 5 plants in a pot that size. So you have to strategically think, okay, what's going to consume the most energy indoors? What's going to require the most lighting? So you have to think about those things. So it's real good to plan out what you're going to grow indoors.
Right.
Versus outdoors. Outdoors, you can just whatever. But indoors, you really want to pay attention to what you're growing indoors. Some things just don't do well indoors. Some plants just take so much energy. They need lots of light, lots of attention. Right. And some plants, you can they'll just take off. Yeah.
Right. So when it comes to growing herbs and stuff like that, I want you to sit up here and tell us, because I heard you mention earlier about the dandelion tea. You know what I'm saying? I've had some dandelion tea before. I gotta say, from it's very healthy for you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I want you to sit up here and tell us, you know what I'm saying, the importance of knowing how to use health or using plants for health benefits as well too, and growing your own, basically growing your own medicine.
I'm glad you asked that. A lot of our remedies, that I'll give you the cool thing about plants, right?
Right.
Okay. Most plants, if it's a medicinal plant, as soon as you consume it, you almost get instant relief, right?
Right.
Because you're consuming it, you're taking it orally, right? For the most part, you're either going to chew it, swallow it, somehow, some way, you're taking it orally, right?
Right.
So that means when you take medicines like that orally, like that, especially plants, it crosses the blood pain barrier quick. I mean, you almost get instant relief, right? Versus when you take a pill or something, you have to digest it. It has to be broken down. You know, it's time release, right? So that's the cool thing about, you know, the medicinal, about plants, especially medicinal plants. It's almost like instant relief. Like, for instance, I got a plant. There's a plant called it's called the bowstring plant, or the snake plant, also called the mother-in-law's tongue, right? That plant, if you take that plant and also the aloe vera plant, you can make a medicine for earaches, right? Just instant relief, right? My fiance, she had an earache a few months ago, and I took some of that plant, and earache was gone. Right? So most of your remedies to most of your common everyday ailments are right in the kitchen, man. You get a burn, get yourself a piece of aloe vera, right? If you're a parent, if you're a mom, a single mom specifically, and if you got children, small children specifically, you should have an aloe vera plant in your house, several aloe vera plants in your house, right? Instant burn relief, man. Instant burn relief. The other thing with the aloe vera plant, you know, it's a good skin conditioner. You can also drink it, you know, in a smoothie, you know. So there's so much, man, that you can do with plants, everyday plants, right? Every single plant in here has some type of value, right? Medicinal. It's either harmful or it's either good for you, right? That's why a lot of these plants in here, they're harmful to pets, you know, for a reason. You know, they're natural insecticides, natural pesticides, you know. So they keep there's certain crops that you can grow that'll keep certain insects away, like marigolds. Most insects don't like the smell of marigolds. They don't like the smell of mosquitoes. Citronella will keep mosquitoes away. You know, there's certain herbs that you can grow that'll keep possums away, that'll keep rabbits away. So once you start learning, you know, what to grow, you might necessarily want to eat it, but it's a cover crop, or it's a forage crop, or it's a crop that'll keep insects, that'll keep certain pests away. You know, so man, you can learn a lot from plants, man. You can learn a lot from plants.
You most definitely can, because I know when I was a kid, like I said, my mom, I know I learned a lot. I learned a whole lot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And as a young man, as a young boy, I definitely developed a liking for them. You know what I'm saying? But you know, as I got older, you know what I mean, and I got my own places and stuff like that, I didn't incorporate that into moving into where I'm at. But you know what I mean? I understand the importance of it, and I think it's very important. You know what I'm saying? Because when you have a lot of plants in your house and you take care of them like their family and stuff, you know what I'm saying? I know that it brings a certain energy in your house. You know what I'm saying? Brings a certain energy to your home, man. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Nature, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely, man. Let me double back to what we were talking about earlier when you asked me about herbs, right?
Right.
These are five herbs that you should be growing, right? Easy to grow, right? And first, I'm going to give you the 5 herbs, and I'm going to tell you how easy it is to grow them, right? You should be growing cilantro, basil, dill, oregano, and chives, right? Because most people use all of those herbs right there, but they usually use them in a dried form, right? And you can substitute parsley, you know, if you don't like cilantro, right? But you can grow all those herbs, and the reason why really we should be growing those herbs is once you start redeveloping your taste buds, those herbs can replace salt, right? Sodium that's probably the top killer for us, because sodium, excess salt, causes heart disease, causes strokes, it causes a lot of issues, right? So you should we all should be growing those herbs, man, because you can use those herbs to season your foods, right? And then also you can use them fresh, and then you can use them dehydrated. And the cool thing about most of those herbs, if you just clip the tops, just clip them, they'll continue to grow.
Right.
They'll continue to grow for you, right? And most of them, they grow, and within 30 days, bam, you're ready to go. Within 30 days, all of those herbs I just mentioned, they're ready to go. I got some chives and stuff that I just planted a week ago, and they're already sprouting, right? Now, the cool thing about most of those herbs is most of us, we like microgreens. Like everybody has heard of microgreens, right? That's what microgreens are. Microgreens are just the small shoots of most of your favorite veggies. They just get them when they're young, right? So anyone can set up their own microgreen garden. You just start growing those herbs and just start, man. You can just start using them, to season your food, to start leading to a more healthy lifestyle, because your diet is a direct correlation to your mental health, your mental well-being, right? So all these things they go hand in hand. And when you're clear mentally, you make proper decisions in every area of life.
That's a fact.
Every area, man. So it's critical that we start growing some. And those 5 things that I mentioned, you can get those 5 seeds, 5 packs of those seeds for probably $1 a pack. No more than $2, right? And the cool thing about them, if you want, you can just get yourself a 5-gallon bucket, and you can do a mix. Herb mix, just grow them all in just one bucket. Get yourself a 5-gallon bucket, and you can have that mix in the brightest, sunniest part of your house. And right there, you got a mini herb garden right there. That's simple. That's simple. Just that simple. Get those herb seeds. Get yourself a 5-gallon bucket. Get yourself a bag of organic soil. Stay away from that Miracle Grow and all that stuff that has fertilizer already in it. Stay away from that stuff. Get yourself if it's organic, buy it. And make sure that if it has any fertilizer in it, it's natural. Something like fish meal or bat guano, which is bat poop, or fish fertilizer. Make sure it's natural. Make sure it's organic. Stay away from that Miracle Grow. That stuff is no bueno, no good.
No bueno at all. It's genetically modified, fake stuff, man. Crazy, man. It's crazy.
The Scott's Corporation, headquartered here in Columbus. Don't get me started.
Oh, damn, they are headquartered here in Columbus, aren't they, man? Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? We chopping it up with my brother, man. The Plant Poppy 614 in the building. Hit that like button. Subscribe on the page. Share on your social media.
Hit that like.
We chopping up big game tonight with the brother.
Subscribe.
Yeah, we chopping up big game with the big brother, man. He dropping heavy jewels on us like I just knew he was. It's a beautiful thing, y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? I definitely think that is will behoove us, like I say, to right now, you know what I mean, incorporate, you know what I'm saying, learning this skill, learning how to, be a self-taught farmer, or even just getting into some type of knowledge about it. Like I said, my brother about to have little classes going on and all that, especially for the kids. And I really think it's something important for the kids to learn too, because, man, our children are being, you know what I'm saying, they being super genetically modified, you know what I'm saying? And we want to make sure, I think it's important for it, because we don't want this to be, as the smart grid comes in and as this stuff we all been discussing is coming into fruition, we don't want our children. And make no mistake, like I've been telling y'all, they are coming for our children. You understand me? And if we want our children to have a fighting chance, you know what I'm saying? We don't want this to become a forgotten skill. We don't want this to become something that's become a part of the past, because humans just don't even do it no more. The machines do. Right? And that's dangerous, man. That's very dangerous, because when we become dependent upon machines to give us our food, that's now we get into some Hunger Games type shit.
What do you notice when you walk into McDonald's? They got the little kiosk. Or you go into Sheets. You start looking at some of these places and how they're turned. But here's what I don't understand. They're building more and more restaurants, more and more establishments, right? They're saying there's already a shortage of workers. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? If they're building more and more places that require employees, but they say there's a labor shortage,
Right. What does
there's
that
more
tell y'all?
to replace.
Y'all heard what my big bro said? What does that tell y'all? What is it telling y'all? Y'all hear me talk about it all the time. The smart grid is now here, right? It's here. Y'all have seen the stuff on Facebook. Y'all have seen the post where y'all see the robot arm flipping burgers and dipping fries and stuff like that. Y'all think they showing y'all that just because it's cool? No, that's called preemptive programming. At my job where I work at now, my first job of many jobs I got, right? My first job where I work at a place that manufactures car parts, right? And what I'm starting to see is on some of the presses that make the parts, they have robot arms.
Yep.
Now they're very rudimentary right now. It's just an arm. It doesn't outperform any humans at this point. But now it's two of them. You hear me? They started off with one, now they got two. You hear me?
They don't call off. They don't call in sick.
They don't need health insurance,
vacation,
401k, vacation, any of that stuff. They don't need a break. All right.
No baby mama drama.
What'd you say?
No baby mama drama, no office drama.
None of that stuff. None of that stuff, man. And I want
no extra lunch, no extra smoke breaks, no extra 15-minute breaks.
I want y'all to see where this stuff is going now. Now, like I said, we're not doing fear mongering over here because that's not what we do, but we just want to inform y'all what's going on. Now, this is not something that's going to be happening like within the next year or two, but eventually, or within the next 20 years.
In China. It's already happening.
Yes, that's what, and this is what I'm saying, man. Maybe this is something that we can get together and have a discussion on at another time. Listen, China is the model for the world. What's going on in China? How many of y'all know about what's going on in China? I bet none of y'all don't. The smart grid is in full effect in China. Y'all see it in these little clips that y'all see on Facebook of how Asians live in society in China, Japan. How they got all these sweet,
little gadgets,
cool,
all these little smart gadgets.
looking
pop-up
contraptions.
washing machines, smart washing, everything. All these little weird little gadgets. It's like an automated. It's like the Jetsons.
This is so cool, man. This is so cool. They're selling it to us like it's cool, like it's going to help us, like it's going to make us better, like it's going to upgrade us, improve us, when actually it's making us more dependent, making us more stupid, more unhealthy, and more dependent.
Like the Jetsons.
Just like the Jetsons. I always think about Star Trek: The Next Generation when they had the replicators.
We got them now. We got 3D printers.
Yes, we do.
They're printing houses. They're printing food. They're printing body parts.
So, you know what I mean? We just live living in a totally, like I keep telling y'all, we live in a reality.
It's real. The replicator, they're real. It's real. The 3D printers, they're real. They're printing houses now.
Right.
They're printing body parts. They're printing limbs. Yes. They're printing artificial limbs. Yeah, the replicators are real. They're printing guns. They're making guns, ghost guns. Yeah, they're real. Replicators are real.
So, you know, when we talk about what's coming in, man, what it's supposed to be, man, you know what I'm talking about, y'all, man, this right here in our face, man. And I just want to say thanks to my brother, man, for coming on the show. It was beautiful, man. I mean, so much information. You hear me, man? Like, I done wrote things down. I committed things to my memory, man. And we definitely gonna link up behind the scenes for sure. That's a fact. And we probably gonna end up having to do another situation too, because you know what I'm saying, this thing right here, is coming in, man. It's not just affecting, you know what I'm saying, my brother right here. It's affecting other areas too. But you know what I'm saying, I just want to say I want to appreciate you coming on the show.
My blessing, man.
I appreciate you dropping all the jewels and the gems and the game you did, brother. Go ahead and let them know where they can get in contact with you at, anything you got coming up or going on as well.
Gotcha. We just launched a YouTube channel. You can hit me up at Plant Poppy 614. I'm Plant Poppy 614 on Instagram, Plant Poppy 614 on TikTok, Plant Poppy 614 on Facebook, or Abdullah El Haj El Malik Muhammad. So, or Clifton Curtis. That's my government. So you can find me out there. But if you put Plant Poppy 614, you can find me out there. So what we have coming up in the month of December, we got some upcoming seminars, We're going to start doing classes on plant-based cooking.
Right.
They'll be online. There'll be virtual classes. So we're going to start doing some real quick cooking shows on plant-based cooking and the benefits of plant-based cooking and how easy it is to. Here's the thing: most of us would eat more plant-based meals if we knew how to properly season the food and texturize the food.
Right.
See, what makes your mama's fried chicken the best fried chicken?
The texture of it.
And the flavor, how she seasons it.
Yeah, how she seasons it. Yeah.
There it is. So if you know, of course, so I make these carrot dogs, right? For instance. And people go, well, does it taste like a real hot dog? Well, of course not. It's not a hot dog. It's a carrot.
Why would you think it tastes like a hot dog? It's not even
But
meat.
it's almost trying to replicate the texture. That's really what it is. It's the texture. Of course, it's not a hot dog, but it has the crunch. And then I can make a plant-based chili sauce, and you think you're eating a little coney dog. It's a carrot dog, man.
Right.
And we can make vegan tuna out of seaweed and some other things. So there's a whole lot of recipes out there that I can share with people where you don't have to go full-blown vegan, but if you can start taking that meat away 1 or 2 days a week, 3 or 4 days a week,
right.
Not only are you bettering your health, you're bettering the environment, but then you're taking money out of the pockets of the folks that are trying to control it. See, this all it all goes hand in hand.
Exactly.
It all ties in together. Because the more meat you eat, the worse off you're doing the environment. So it all goes hand in hand. And then you're putting more money into those guys' pockets. Because on that land, they're also ranching. They're also raising cattle. They're also raising chicken. They're raising livestock. So the land is not setting fallow. Right. They're raising animals on that land and selling those animals back to us, those harmful animals. So whole nother story, brother. I would love to come back on your podcast.
Oh, yeah, we can definitely, we're going to discuss all of that. We're going to chop it up behind the scenes and all of that, brother. So like I said, y'all make sure y'all go holler at my brother, man, Plant Poppy 614 on all. Did I spell that right? Let me put it in the thing, make sure I got it right.
Poppy 614.
See it on the screen?
Knocking at your door. Come and holler at me. You got it, brother. That's it.
All right,
no. Plant P-A-P-I. P-A-P-I. Poppy.
Oh, okay, so I'm about to put it back in there. I'm about to put it back in there again, y'all.
Yep. And 614-286-7778. That's the plant line. 614-286-7778. That's the plant line. Text your plant questions. We'll get back to you. Text your plant questions. Text your growing questions. You know what I'm saying? Text your questions again. 614-286-7778. 614-286-7778. And for my Spanish brothers out there, ses, uno, cuatro, dos, ocho, seis, siete, 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 ocho.
Yeah, man, y'all see it right there, man. Let me take that off the screen and put this one. This is the correct one right here,
there
man.
Is. Plant Poppy 614. So hit me up with those gardening questions, those planting questions. Hey, Plant Poppy, I'm thinking about doing this. I'm thinking about doing that. And I got a dog. I got a cat. What plants are safe for my cat? And I want to try doing this. And I got high blood pressure. What foods should I eat? What plants can I eat? How can I lower my high blood pressure? How can I reverse this? How can I reverse my diabetes? Oh yeah. It's in the plants. Hit your boy up. I'll tell you how to reverse. I can teach you how to reverse diabetes. I can teach you how to reverse high blood pressure.
Let's go.
I can teach you, my brothers. Last thing I'm going to give you, my brothers. I have the secret to natural Viagra. Natural Viagra. Hit me up. I'll teach you about natural Viagra.
That's what's up, man. Can't never go wrong with the natural Viagra. So, man, I want to say I appreciate you coming on, brother.
Blessings.
It's been a beautiful situation. I loved it. And I definitely touch bases with you behind the scenes, man.
Blessings, my brother. I appreciate
you, man. Too, brother. You already know. Anytime.
All righty.
All right. Yeah, man. That was my brother, man. Plant Poppy 614. You know what I'm talking about? Make sure y'all go hit my brother up. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, man. You know what I'm talking about, y'all, man? That's how we do it over here on A Real Talk, man. I told y'all, man, real actual content, man. Shout out to my brother Plant Poppy 614 coming on the situation, man. Did y'all learn something tonight, man? You hear me? Did y'all get a lot of info? Put y'all up on game, man. Listen here, this stuff is getting serious out here, man. There is nothing that we could ever discuss on this show that's not going to go back to what I be talking about, right? Y'all better go inform yourselves on y'all cities, climate action and resilient plans. Uncle Diggity in the building, what's good? You hear me? Inform yourselves on your city's climate action and resilient plans, right? Inform yourselves on UN Agenda 2030 for global sustainability, right? Inform yourselves on the Wildlands Urban Interface, the Wildlands Project, the UGB, the Urban Growth Boundaries. Go inform yourselves on this stuff, man. We don't do conspiracy theories over here. We dealing straight facts. You hear me? You already know, Lance Parker, man. I do this for y'all, man. I'm doing this to bring y'all the raw, true, real content that I know y'all want to watch and see. You know what I'm saying? Now, we grinding and growing. Shouts out to my brother, Red Supreme TV1. We over here grinding and growing, man, from the ground up, out the paint. You hear me? Y'all hit that like button, click on the bell, subscribe to the page, share on your social engineering, right? Tell everybody, come tap in and walk with you, with your guy, Virgil Berry, a.k.a. Stats with the Facts. Real, raw content. Got people from the turf. You hear me? People who have interesting and very thought-provoking views, live interesting lives, and do massive different things. The real people who should be celebrated, and not we don't, people who should be given the voice to speak and the platform to speak and share their knowledge and their information on whatever it is we're going to be talking about over here at A-Real Talk. And whatever we're going to be talking about, it's going to be some real shit. You hear me? So you already know what it is. Tomorrow night, ladies' night, we got my girl Genesis Aurelia on the program, or should I say on the show for tomorrow night, ladies' night. She's a beautiful young lady out of my city, Columbus, Ohio. She's a performing arts extraordinaire. You know what I'm saying? She got a lot going on, man. And you know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing, man. She's a beautiful person. My brother's a beautiful person. And I'm just all about giving a platform for beautiful people doing beautiful things in my city, Columbus, Ohio, and around the world. You know, if you want to come on the show, you're more than welcome to come on the show as long as it makes sense. And, hit me up. The email's in the About section. You know what I'm talking about? Just go to my About section and you'll see my email address. Send me an email. Have no problem with doing that. You know what I'm saying? Any questions, just send me an email. I want to come on the show, possible collaborations, tap in, walk with me. I created my platform, this platform for y'all. It's really for y'all's platform. It's really for y'all. You hear me? You know what I'm saying? I wanted to provide a platform for people who don't normally get a microphone to speak. You hear me? And talk about some real things, man. Like being the gardener and the farmer on the local side, on the independent side. You hear me? Growing your own food, your own veggies. You ain't got to ever go to the store no more. And you got to worry about getting no genetically modified crap. You hear me? You're going to get something with some seeds in it. I don't remember last time. I don't even eat grapes no more. I used to like grapes. I don't eat grapes anymore because there ain't no seed. All the grapes are seedless. You hear me? That's crazy, right? So y'all make sure y'all tap in and walk with us tomorrow night. We're going to have my girl Genesis Aurelia on the show. Like I said, she's a beautiful young lady out of Columbus, Ohio, man. She's beautifully talented and gifted. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to tap in and walk with her tomorrow night. Friday night, we're going to have a show. Y'all know how we do it on Friday night. Friday night wrap up. You understand what I'm saying? Me and my brother L going in tomorrow. Friday night, I'm leaving as well because I'm going to D.C. for the Rally for Reparations, hosted by my brother, our brethren, Tariq Nasheed. You hear me? A-Real Talk Media and Podcast will definitely be in the building and on the turf. We will be there, right there, front line with it. I'm going to bring y'all some dope exclusive content, but you got to go to the Patreon because that's where it's going to be. You did. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all want to see that exclusive content event this weekend, the Rally for Reparations. Y'all going to have to go over here to this old Patreon, man. Y'all going to have to go to that Patreon. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to pay that $5. You know what I'm talking about? It's gonna be worth it. I'm gonna make sure I keep y'all updated with exclusive for YouTube content on there. You know what I'm talking about? I'm in my bag. You know what I'm saying? I got videos that I just can't even show them on YouTube. You hear me? Don't want to. YouTube ain't worthy of it. You feel me? And I want y'all to get the best out of what it is I'm bringing. And the only way you're going to do that is if you go over there to the Patreon. Because y'all know YouTube is in the business of censorship. You hear me? Make sure y'all go hit my brother Plant Poppy up, man. He got the hotline, the plant hotline right there. Go hit him up with Plant Poppy. That's PAPI on all social media platforms. You know what I'm saying? Go check in with my brother if you're trying to need some information, some game. You need some tips on how to, create your own compost heap for your garden. You understand what I'm saying? You need to learn how to, get some tips on how to grow your herbs indoor, how to, whatever it is you need, man. Hit my man up, man. He got the game for you, man. And, it's a beautiful thing. I appreciate everybody coming out tonight, man. You know what I'm saying? On y'all way out, tap that like button, click on the bell, subscribe to the page. Y'all know I got to do y'all with some E&E, man. Y'all know that, man. Y'all know how we do it over here at Real Talk, man. This is a beautiful thing, man. We're going to leave y'all with some E&E. You know what I'm talking about? For sure we are. It's a beautiful thing, man. You know what I'm talking about? Hit that like button on your way out, man. Click on the bell, subscribe to the page, man. Share on your social engineer. Tell everybody come tap in with your guy, Stacks with the Facts, man. Tell everybody, hey, man, you need to go subscribe to this dude out of Columbus, man. His name is Virgil, man. Go tap in. Maybe I'm talking about some real shit, man. Y'all go ahead and do that, man. Do yourself a favor, you know what I'm saying? Support your brethren. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all coming out, man. Y'all could be anywhere in the world, man, but y'all right here with me, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all could be anywhere in the world, but y'all right here with me. I think it's right that we play this song right here, man. I've been trying to listen. Oh man, I'm gonna tell y'all a funny story, man, about this one of these days, though. But this song right here, I just think it's just perfect to lead the show off with this song right here, man. This is my song I got called "Beautiful" off of my album. You know what I'm saying? E&E presents Stacks with the Facts, the real contender. It's a song called "Beautiful." Y'all can go check it out right now. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and put the link to it in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can go ahead and listen to it on datpiff.com right now, totally for free. You know what I'm saying? Totally for free, just for y'all. Go download the album, listen to it. This song is called "Beautiful," man. I think it just sums up this evening, and we're going to listen to it, man. So thank everybody for coming out tonight. Click on the bell, subscribe to the page, share on your social engineering, smash that like button. Tomorrow night, we're going in. We got the beautiful Genesis Aurelia coming on the show. Trust me, y'all ladies is going to like this one. She's a lively sprite. How about that? She's a hell of a chick. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait to have her on. We're going to chop it up. Y'all enjoy y'all evening, man. All right, then.
Stacks with the facts. Stacks with the contender. Real contender. You know, it's a lot of ugly things. A lot of ugly things in the world, baby. And even though we're being manipulated and hating each other, I still choose to love. Got a lot of love to give. Got Onyx singing the vibes. Honest. Talk up, sis. You know the time for this beauty and struggle. Play a possibility of a love. Life's beautiful. Beautiful, yeah. Can't wait to let go. So beautiful. Life's beautiful. This life we live in, nobody promised tomorrow, mate. We gotta make it by any means necessary, mate. I won't be happy till all my diamonds canary, mate. And all my brethren is sister. Locked up in the prison. Come home, no more worries about commissary, mate. We've been tricked into thinking the world is filled with hate. Same time being tricked to forgetting that we great. My brother Moochie lost his life about a year ago. James holding it down is so beautiful. My brother K rolling to go be back with the essence. I truly miss him because he taught me so many life lessons. I sit back and I reflect on how the world could be if there was no more wars, no more poverty. But I'ma keep dropping jewels, it ain't no stopping me. Ghost band, shadow band, it ain't no blocking me. I'm truly truthful.
Stacks with the facts featuring Onyx and truly beautiful slave.
I know it's hard, but there's beauty in the struggle. Play a possibility of a love. Life's beautiful. Can't wait to move on and let go. So beautiful. Life's beautiful.
2020 coronavirus and full of fake. They lying about the numbers, brother, they full of shit. We went from holding the business to unemployment checks. Everybody masked up like they robbing shit. Imposing vaccinations, but they ain't stopping shit. I'm saying rest in the essence, the Casey Gibson Jr. Another young life gone. We sending prayers to him. To every mother who's ever had to bury a child. When your heart gets heavy, just look up in the clouds. Put a smile on your face, tell them they made you proud. You being tricked into thinking the world is so low. I'm about to get off parole, this world is so low. My mom just got out of surgery, that's so low. I'm in a league of my own, no man not above none. Truly truthful. Stacks with the facts featuring Onyx is truly beautiful. Say,
I know it's hard, but there's beauty in the struggle. Play a possibility of a love. Life's beautiful.